Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley. We're here on your Neighborhood Watch, brought to you by All American Bail Bonds, on your hometown station, where we have three very special guests talking about Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station outreach, crime prevention, law enforcement, and what's going on in our community. Deputy Kevin Duxbury, Deputy Jonathan Wilson, and Marissa Treviso from the Santa Clarita Valley Domestic Violence Center, which we're going to talk about in the next segment. But first, wanted to get a little bit about, you were touched on fireworks safety earlier, and I have to tell you, that's one of the things that just we hear about more than anything else is fireworks on the 4th of July and illegal stuff that's going on. I'm sure it's more than just fireworks sometimes, but I mean, that's the thing that everybody hears. And we want to get the word out about safe options and what's going on, right?
Right. Well, let's just say it like it is, all right? Santa Clarita is the desert in denial. Yes, we are very green.
Surrounded by dry brush.
City, but the drought right now is horrible. The brush is out of control. And, there's a reason that these rules and these laws are put into place. If anyone lived here 7 years ago when we had the Canyon Country fire, Jonathan can relate to this. We watched houses in Canyon Country burn down.
It's really every few years.
Horrible thing.
Yeah.
And that was just a small accidental fire that started in someone's backyard and spread into that. So, with that, yes, we're really pushing fireworks safety. Like I said before, all fireworks in Santa Clarita are illegal, whether it's safe and sane or not. They are completely illegal.
No sparklers, no bottle rockets,
nothing,
no cherry bombs.
No, and especially
not even snakes.
Not even snakes.
Especially the airborne ones.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you really got to think about. And on the 4th of July, the Crime Prevention Unit is going to be on patrol specifically for fireworks. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be out there looking for people using illegal fireworks, and they are going to be given citations, and the uncooperative ones could even be arrested. All the fireworks that we're talking about, safe and sane, and the ones that are not, are all misdemeanors if you're in possession of them.
Okay.
Things like M80s, which are classified as explosives, are actually felonies. So that's serious.
So that would be a ticket and a court date, basically, if you get caught doing that.
Basically, yeah. Okay. Unless you have over 100 pounds. So then we're looking at felony charges.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
100 pounds of fireworks? Have you ever seen
that? That would be a lot.
It's not
Have you
far
ever
off.
seen that?
They are kind of light. So, yeah, that would be a
Yeah.
that'd be
And then
a
you
lot.
got to carry that into your car, too, and do all that paperwork. I'd imagine.
Crazy? Yeah. But at the same time, though, we don't want to be the ones to just, pour water on your fireworks show. So, the great thing about Santa Clarita is that we have 3 professional fireworks shows in our city in one night. The one at the Town Center Mall, Magic Mountain, and Stevenson Ranch. And we close a lot of the streets so that spectators can come set up their lawn chairs in the middle of town and see all 3 of these fireworks shows at the same time. I've done it with my family, and it really is a good time. You bring your cooler, your chairs, your family, you sit out, you enjoy the cool night, watch the fireworks shows. It's
very
it's
long
quite
show
impressive.
too. Long shows.
Yeah. And the price is right.
And the price is right.
Yeah.
Free.
This is definitely within a journalist's budget.
Yeah.
So that's going on, and then just can't stress it enough though. There's no safe option for the fireworks, right? There's not a.
You got to think about it. We're in a
well,
drought.
if you drive out here and no.
Yeah, we're in a bad drought right now, and it just takes one. And again, the Canyon Country fire was a very small accidental fire in someone's backyard that literally burned thousands of acres and destroyed several houses.
And so you guys are going to be on patrol, and what are you looking out for? And how does it? Because there's hundreds of calls.
Zero tolerance. Zero tolerance on 4th of July.
We've seen that where it's just like there's so many calls and there's so much going on. I'd imagine that it's literally impossible to get to everything because there's a limited number of human beings who work
I've been
for
on the patrol aspect
station.
of 4th of July, and I've been on the CPU aspect of it last year. Patrol aspect, it's a very busy night. A lot of people drink and
you're having a good time, maybe getting carried away.
A lot of calls that night.
Yeah.
And on the CPU aspect of it, any firework calls we get, we're going to respond to it, and we're gonna figure out what house it's coming from. We're going to figure it out, and it's not hard. That someone's going to point the finger. I mean, it happens every year. Someone always gets caught every year, and just know we're going to be out there.
And if anybody has an issue and they want to report it or they want to concern, they call the sheriff's station at 661-255-1121. Again, that's 661-255-1121. And then you can speak with, like, if you wanted to report an issue, you just, how do you do it? You just call in and say, I want to talk to the...
If any residents of Santa Clarita has an issue, you can figure out what zone you live in pretty easily, and you can call any one of our zone deputies.
Okay. And we have those numbers available, and you guys put them out in the Nixle reports that you put out every week.
Yes.
So you have the contact information, you have the email address. Deputy Wilson, can we have yours?
Yeah, my number is 661-255-1121, extension 5159.
Okay, and if somebody has an issue with what's going on in the west part of Canyon Country, they can call the station at that number. What was the extension again?
5159.
5159, or they can just ask for 5159. They'll direct to you.
Or just call the station, ask for Deputy Wilson, they'll send you to me.
Oh, okay. Any other names you go by, or? No,
nope, that's it.
Okay.
Now, on the 4th of July, though, on the actual 4th of July, if you're having issues with someone using fireworks, you wouldn't call the zone leaders. You're going to call the desk.
Okay. And so what would you do then?
Well, you just call if it's not emergent, you call the 255-1121 number. You give them a location where the fireworks are happening, and they'll dispatch a call, and someone will come out. Now, if you see something that is inherently dangerous, where you're truly concerned that something's going to burn down or someone's going to get hurt,
that's a 911 call.
911.
Okay.
Okay.
So and how would you make that determination as like a resident? Like if something looks like you said, like they're about to set something on fire, as opposed to like your neighbors just being real loud and shooting off fireworks.
We'll figure that out when we get there. So one thing we do have to
Okay.
plead is that don't abuse 911 to get us out there faster.
Right.
You make the call
If it's not an
you think
emergency
it's an emergency
situation,
or if it's
don't
just
call the emergency
routine
number.
fireworks. Right.
Certainly makes sense.
Our dispatchers will sift through that kind of stuff.
Okay, so you guys kind of have somebody at the call center who makes that determination
Yeah.
as far as how emergent.
Yeah, they'll figure out what's going on.
Gotcha. All right, we got to take another quick commercial break. We'll be right back on your Neighborhood Watch, brought to you by All American Bail Bonds on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley. We're here on your Neighborhood Watch, brought to you by All American Bail Bonds, where twice a month we talk about Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station outreach, crime prevention, law enforcement, and what's going on in our community. With me in the studio, Deputy Kevin Duxbury, Deputy Jonathan Wilson, and Marissa Trevizo of the Santa Clarita Valley Domestic Violence Center. And we want to talk about domestic violence because it's been a topic in the news. It's been getting national attention. We've had some professional athletes getting involved in some domestic violence cases, and more importantly to our local community, we've had a couple really high-profile cases that have happened involving that are suspected domestic violence. They're still in the courts right now. But there was a father who drove into the back of a big rig with his 2 children in the car. I don't know if that's necessarily be considered domestic violence, but there was issues with his wife.
Probably mental health.
Yeah, leading up to that, and then there was the shooting on Sierra Highway. There was again suspected relationship involvement there. We don't know the full story yet, obviously, because the suspect was just caught. But you had the murder-suicide in the FedEx and Stevenson Ranch. And then you had a woman who was recently beaten to death. They don't know if it was, the husband is in custody and is charged. We don't know what the outcome is there yet. But again, these have all been cases in the last 6 or 7 months where domestic violence has been an issue. It's obviously in every community in America, but we do have resources out here, and there are agencies working like the Santa Clarita Valley Domestic Violence Center. So Marissa, tell us a little bit about, what the center, who the center helps, what's it for, and how do people get involved?
Okay, so the center helps the community. There's a lot of different programs that are available. We have the outreach center that has domestic violence classes that people can, that are involved with domestic violence situations, they can come in and get educated. We do offer therapy for our clients. We have a close to home program, which is working with the youth and teaching them about healthy relationships. It's the youth within the community. We just work with a lot of people, and there's a lot of events that we have within the community to raise awareness. So it's a lot about community education and making sure that people are aware of that.
You had mentioned some of the classes. What types of things do you teach the men and women who come into the center?
Well, they're domestic violence education classes. So we're teaching them about domestic violence and what does domestic violence mean? What is it? Some of these women don't realize, and I should say men too, don't realize what domestic violence is. It's not just about physical. It's a lot of things. It's emotional. It's mental. It's financial, sexual. So there's a lot of different types of domestic violence.
So you teach about identifying it and then how to, address the behavior?
Well, how to address the behavior, and then empowerment for the women or men that are involved in these relationships so that they can understand that they don't have to be in these type of relationships.
That's one thing we don't really hear about, but I've heard figures as high as like 5 to 10% of victims that come to the shelter are men. So that is that population, and so it affects everyone.
It does affect everyone.
And obviously, even if it affects the children too. I believe you guys have classes for kids as well, or there's kind of an art component.
Well,
there?
there's A Window Between Worlds, and it's an art class where people can express themselves through art. So it will be able to see a person's feelings, and they can get what they're struggling with out through art.
And as far as the issues and reporting, how does someone come to the shelter? Do they generally, I mean, as a result of, when the deputies come out and there's an issue, can people just contact the station whenever? How do people, seek the help?
Well, there's different things. There's national hotlines that they can call. They can call our numbers, the 259 help number, and they can call the outreach center. When they talk to the sheriffs, when they respond, they have a lot of information as well. So the Domestic Violence Center works closely with the sheriff's station, so they provide information to victims as well. So that's a great component as well. When they come in, they're able to look at the list of the resources. So there's, like I said, there's classes, there's therapy, there's the art. There's just a lot of different things that they can take advantage of.
How many clients does the center see on a yearly basis, or do you guys have a tally of that, or do you know, like, there's I would imagine there's a limited amount of space for when somebody actually has to utilize the shelter.
Well, the shelter, it's a revolving door. That is something that is just ongoing. People are coming in and they're only there for a limited time. And that's an emergency cases.
That's if somebody has immediate help, they're in an emergency,
Mm-hmm.
you need to put them someplace safe for the night or
Yes,
2 nights.
yes,
So,
it's immediate.
And that's not in the Santa Clarita Valley, right? That's an off-site thing that
Yes,
is
it's
people are
a
to
confidential.
remove them, right, of course. And it removes them from the situation and gives them that time to address what they need.
Yes, yes.
And so they go to a place, I'd imagine, that has a partnership with the Santa Clarita Valley Domestic Violence Center. So, I mean, what happens like, let's say, okay, you're in an emergency situation,
Yes.
you need to be removed from your home
Yes.
For whatever reason, and you go to the off-site shelter. What happens there
Well-
when the person is, say, they're taken in for some help?
There's case managers there that provide them with information and resources that they would need to help them get back on their feet. We partner with the sheriff stations if they need a restraining order, if they need resources on their own obtaining their own finances, like DPSS or something like that. We would partner with and show them how to sign up for things like that.
Say they need help to get back on their feet because
Yes.
they've just left their significant other, so they want
Transitional
to.
housing,
Okay.
things like that. So we also provide classes as well there as well.
And all of these resources are free, but people can support the shelter and help,
Absolutely,
help pay
we
for
have
them if they can.
a lot of outreach programs. Like coming up, we have on June 12th the Boys Night Out, Bob Keller's Boys Night Out, where the local men community are coming in out and supporting the domestic violence movement. And
Well, that sounds like a great program, and so that money goes back to the shelter that they raised at that event.
the outreach center as well. Yes.
Outstanding. We have to take a quick commercial break. I want to talk a little bit more about the partnership between the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station and our Santa Clarita Valley Domestic Violence Center when we come right back after this break by All American Bail Bonds on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.